Welcome to another episode of Technical Earth Syndicate. I'm your host, Michael Buffington, along with Chris Stewart and Alan Gray.
Hello.
Woo! So, you know what episode this is, right?
Number 10.
Number 10!
We're
Yeah!
10 years old.
Hard to believe we've made it this far. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago when we started. I guess it really wasn't. It's been, 2 months, 2.5 months?
Yeah.
So
Time flies when you're having fun.
Overview of the show is going to be gaming news, top 3 games of E3 of our pick, upcoming games, Apple time, talk about the new Apple products that was at the conference recently, and also Alan's Tech Corner.
Also, we've got a special surprise at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that.
So E3 was last week, and got to see some interesting things. Ain't that right, Mike?
Yep. A lot of good games, you name it.
Mm-hmm. So we thought we'd just go ahead and show off our, what we thought were the top 3 games, or at least each one of us pick a game, and those would be our, as a group, top 3 games of E3. So why don't you go ahead and start us off, Chris?
Well, I thought the best game had to be Watch Dogs, hands down. Like, there's nothing I've ever seen before quite like it. Just the hacking everybody's cell phones to be able to sneak into the club and messing with the traffic lights near the end of the trailer. Just a lot of really cool stuff. I'm really excited for it. Also,
the surprise of, it looks like multiplayer mode in there, which they did not describe a lot of in E3.
Yeah, they hinted at it, though. It looked really cool. Like, it was some kind of drop-in, drop-out sandbox thing where you were, like, all against each other. Like, you were trying to... And I think I saw an article about it a little while later, because I remember reading something about how everybody was going against each other. And so you were trying to hack machines and different things like that to try to get the other person to get caught by police or get killed or something. That just sounds like so much fun, so much cloak and dagger stuff going on.
Yeah, it almost seems like it might be just a storyline where someone affects your storyline and you can affect their storyline maybe. I don't know. We'll see more as time progresses, I guess, throughout the year, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now, Alan, what was your game of choice at E3 that you think that is going to do really well and also that you want to play?
Given that I love post-apocalyptic games, I just had to choose Last of Us. I mean, right. It was a zombie apocalypse. Well, it's not quite zombie, some kind of disease. They didn't really say zombies, but more than likely it is zombies. And from what I understand, there are still good human communities, right? But they're run under military control, military government. And if you're found, like, there are checkpoints everywhere. If you commit a crime, you're shot and killed. If they detect you have the disease, you're killed on the spot. So this little girl that goes around with the main character is so used to all these bad things, and they actually describe her as a young girl. She's not an adult. She's a young girl. She's a teenager. And then the main character and her have to go around and they're not really describing too much of the storyline except for you have to survive, and so you're outside of a safe zone and trying to survive. So the interactivity between the main character and the side characters it's one of those really cool things. They just put a lot of AI interaction with them that just made it amazing to me.
Yeah, I saw in the trailer how, like, when you were fighting one of the guys, she would come up from the side and throw something at him to distract him, and so you could tackle him and steal his weapon. That was pretty cool.
Right. It seems like it's going to be a really good game. I mean, it's going to be using... I think it might be using the Uncharted engine from the third one.
It looks a lot like Uncharted.
Yeah, it is the same developers, Naughty Dog, so it could very well be the same engine.
Now, my game of choice was for PlayStation 3, and so was Alan's as well, but Beyond Two Souls. That looked amazing, and if you're a Heavy Rain fan, I would highly recommend watching that trailer. It's supposed to be a lot like Heavy Rain, but more, what could you describe it, like with Ghost or something like that? Some kind of, supernatural feeling to that game. But mix that, Heavy Rain was kind of a thriller and a crime-solving game, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How is this one supposed to play out? I mean, your choices are going to affect, like, the spirit world or something? I don't know, but it looks really cool. It really does look cool.
Yeah.
The graphics looked phenomenal, and also the gameplay. They didn't get to show that, but I'm pretty much thinking it's going to be like Heavy Rain. Same, you're able to walk around and shout for random people's names.
Jason!
Jason!
Yeah, Quantic Dream has definitely stepped up their game with the facial techniques and stuff. I mean, Heavy Rain looked amazing, but there was still that little bit of not quite as realistic as it could be. This one, it looks pretty much spot on. You can barely tell what's a game at some points.
I think I like those type of games, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're just quick time event games," and there's still an element of puzzle solving and everything. It kind of reminds me of a very hardcore adventure game.
Yeah,
that has it has things that can affect the gameplay. It can affect the endings. It can affect the middles. You name it.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of those type of games. Remind me a lot of like interactive books. That's how I look at them. It's an interactive story. I mean, really and truly, it's a story that you get to enjoy.
it's a modern day Dragon's Lair. That's what I like to think of it as.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yes and no, but it matters if they add like puzzles and stuff into it.
Yeah.
It adds a level of different that's not just a storytelling that people think it is. So I don't know. It's worth a check, and if you haven't checked out Heavy Rain yet, definitely check out that game if you want to get gear up for Beyond. Our upcoming games and tech are actually going to be a short list today. Chris, why don't you go ahead and start us out?
Well, Splinter Cell fans are going to have a chance to appear in the new Blacklist game. Ubisoft and GameStop are teaming up to promote that whole thing, and the Power Up Awards members are going to have a chance to, win that whole appear in the game thing whenever they make a purchase or a trade-in using their rewards card. So any transactions through either the physical stores or the website both count towards that, and you just have to do at least one during the month of June.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And they're going to pick one person to get a free trip up to Ubisoft Toronto to get all that sorted out. So it should be cool.
So what is it going to be? Is it just going to be your voice as a character, or are you going to end up being like in the game? I mean, because I'm just seeing me in the game as like a side character you see as walking down the street or something, and it seems awfully weird.
You can now shoot Alan Gray.
I know. I don't know. It would be weird.
They haven't really made any kind of announcements on that yet, whether they're going to be voiced or if you're just going to have your face in the game. Like either, it just depends on what you look like, I guess. It'll either be, some random terrorist that he's going to snap their neck, or you'll actually work at the fourth echelon and help Sam Fisher out. So it'll be interesting to see.
Pretty interesting.
Some ugly Bob guy gets in there, right?
Yeah.
Also, we have Animal Crossing for the 3DS is slated for fall in Japan. No word of an American release anytime soon. I know there's a lot of people excited for a rehash of that game on the 3D system. So we'll see as more time goes. I don't really have any more information other than that. It's just kind of a, what Japan is saying right now for that, so that's a small one.
Yeah, Animal Crossing definitely has a strong fan base in the States, so I'm sure it can't be too far behind.
Oh yeah, and my wife will be definitely really happy when that comes
Mine
out.
too, definitely.
Even though this is just the same thing over and over, but that's okay. There's always new updates and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Also, you can now, exclusively for Xbox 360, buy your avatar an arrow to the knee for 240 Microsoft points.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to be buying this, but there's a lot of people that might buy it that think it's funny. I don't really mess with the avatar stuff on Xbox. So.
Yeah. It's kind of silly for 240 points, but how much was the lightsaber when that came out? Wasn't it like 1,200?
400.
400?
I think it was 400. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
I
Either
don't
way,
know, something like that.
people will buy it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. If you want an arrow in your avatar's knee, then there you go.
Okay.
Next up, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 will be on the Wii U, hopefully. That's been some leaked information in a Nintendo Gamer magazine. They have no more information other than that, and how it's going to use the gamepad or maybe the Pro controller. I'm hoping it'll use both.
I'm assuming it will. I'm pretty sure that they're coming out with the Pro controller so that in case you don't want to use the touchpad, you can just do that.
Which,
like a
that's
game.
pretty cool. Now, if I do still get it or whatever, I'll probably still get it on Xbox. I don't think I'm going to get it on Wii U because
probably same.
they're going to be behind on like the map packs and the Elite subscription or whatever, So.
Yeah. But apparently that's coming out on the Wii U this November, so that could be kind of a hint on a release date for the Wii U? Like, they hasn't given an official one yet, but there's that.
It's supposed to be holiday season, so November.
Yeah, they want it out at least before Christmas this year. So
I'm guessing near Thanksgiving it'll come out.
And a lot of the games show February release date.
It's Apple time.
Granny Smith apple.
This week, I actually followed, I don't know if you guys did, but I followed the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, this year with Apple, WWDC. And they revealed actually a lot of cool stuff this time. Now, depending if you like the prices or not, that's up to you. There's a new MacBook Air that they just did. It's overhauled with some new hardware and you name it. There's also a new MacBook Pro with Retina display, a screen loaded with some really sweet hardware. I mean, for Mac users, if you like that. No, it's gonna have a resolution of 2880 by 1800 resolution, and it's gonna be 220 pixels per inch, and it's with support of millions of colors.
That's crazy.
That's a big resolution. That's a lot of pixels per inch, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think I remember hearing them say it's actually one of the highest resolutions you can get for a laptop right now, or something like that.
It's the same resolution that the new iPad has, doesn't it? Or pretty close to it.
No, close to it, I think. Yeah. But this is it's a 15-inch screen. So
yeah.
There you go. That's actually pretty decent. It's gonna the standard one will be a 2.3 gigahertz quad-core Intel Core i7 processor. Turbo Boost, it will go up to 3.3 gigahertz. You can actually go from that to 2.7 i7 Turbo, and that the boost on that is 3.7 gigahertz.
Wow!
And it's gonna come with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1,600 megahertz DDR3L. And it's going to come with a either or, depending on the price, is going to be a flash drive in it for 256 gigabytes or 512 gigabytes. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's flash memory. Very fast.
Yeah.
Also packed with it, Intel HD Graphics 4000, NVIDIA GeForce GT 650M with 1 gigabyte of GDDR5 memory. And it has something like automatic graphics switching on that one. And when you buy it, it will ship out with Lion, which you can buy it right now because they offered it right after the conference. But here in July, they're going to be coming out with Mountain Lion, the new OS, and you'll get a free update code for that. So you'll be able to download it.
Nice.
I mean, that's that they do that every year when they come out with the new OS. That's a simple upgrade. Now, I am very excited about Mountain Lion OS X. I use my my iMac to run the show, so it's actually pretty cool. Now I hope that the updates don't mess with any of my software that I have loaded for the podcast. Let's hope not. Apple is really good about keeping the programs decent and non-conflicting with the software most of the time. Most of the time. But right now, I'm going to do some key features I'm kind of excited for. They're doing a notification center in Mountain Lion. Also, an iMessage integration. I mean, it's pretty much the same iMessage that you're getting with your iPad or iPhone.
That's cool.
It's going to be doing a power nap feature, which basically syncs your computer while it sleeps. I mean, that doesn't sound like too big, but that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Power saver right there. And it still syncs your iTunes stuff or your iCloud or whatever. Dictation is a new feature. It'll be using the microphone, and it will convert your voice into words. Kind of like just a help, thing for if you want to just speak to your computer and it'll type it out. But the cool thing is with this, it actually kind of uses Siri tech, and it actually learns your voice techniques, and it learns your voice completely and how you talk, and if you slur or anything like that, it'll pick up on that, and it'll utilize that, and it'll get to know you. Your computer will know you.
It'll be cool for people who can't use their hands very well and can't type. So
I mean, even if you're just if you're if a person that's pacing back and forth, you're shouting at your computer to type out something, that would be kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Windows used to have the same type of deal,
Right.
but you had to actually read this paragraph like 15 times or something like that for it to actually start remembering you.
Yeah.
And if you read the paragraph when you were sick or something like that, it would never listen to you the same again.
So I'm really interested in to see how that works, if it actually compares to something I've never played with before, because I've played with stuff like this before, and it's always been kind of just like what Alan was saying. Now, this is a feature that I am very excited for, especially since I have an Apple TV. Full AirPlay use on the Mac, meaning you can completely share your computer or screen, like 1950 by 1080, say your resolution's that, to your TV, which is 1080p, and that's the resolution, and you can pretty much do presentations on there. Now, I'm interested to see if you could game on there with like Diablo or something, and some of you people are chuckling at home, oh, the Mac doesn't game. It does. Shut up.
Yeah, Blizzard's actually been pretty good about making sure their stuff runs on Macs.
Yeah,
stuff.
they've
Right,
been that way
right.
for years.
Now, I'm interested to see that, because then my wife could, play Diablo on there. I still play on my desktop gaming PC, so that's a cool feature. And right now, Apple TV doesn't have Hulu Plus on there, like as an app, and so I'm gonna be streaming probably Hulu from my Mac over to my Apple TV so I can watch that, which is pretty cool. They're also going to be adding Apple's Game Center to the Mac store with the App Store, basically to kind of have what iOS has with gaming, where you can earn achievements and all that kind of stuff.
That's
Is that going to be like with regular computer games with that, or?
Yeah, apparently. And also, some of the developers are bringing some of these iPad games over to Mac, so you can actually play some of those ones. Now, I'm interested, maybe they'll be doing cross-play with them, and also maybe some of the apps I've already bought on my iPad might transfer over to my account already. That would be cool. Now, I'm not a big, gamer on my Mac at all. That's not what I even do on it. I work on it. So that would be a kind of cool feature maybe for my wife that's playing or something.
Yeah.
And then among that, there's like 200 plus more updates on there's this list. 200 updates, and they're actually pretty legit. I mean, they're good. Those are the main ones I'm excited for. That you can look up the list yourself off of Apple's site. So with the announcement after that, in the conference, they started talking about iOS 6 was announced, and that was kind of a given. I didn't really see too much I really wanted to talk about on there, but there is a new Siri that's going to be coming to iPad. The new iPad, for now, I looked on their site and I saw a very weird wording that they put. It was, with Siri on the new iPad, on more devices, 2. So I don't really know what that means. Maybe they're going to bring it to the iPad 2, and maybe the not the last model of iPhone, because that already had Siri.
iPhone
the one
4.
before that.
Yeah,
right.
iPhone 4. And which would be interesting because you see, they already jailbreak iPhone 4 and put Siri on it anyways, despite, Apple's permission. So
there'll be more announcements as time goes on about the iOS 6. Now, that probably won't be coming out till the end of the year, like iOS 5 did last year. So we'll see how it goes. Also, there's updated maps that's going to have like a new map system that's supposed to blow everything out of the water. I looked at it a little bit. It looked pretty cool. And also, eyes-free Siri is going to be in your car. Basically, you can tell Siri to do whatever you want in your car for looking for positions, GPS, you name it. Kind of like what you're doing before, but some of these car companies, like Honda, is going to be integrating a button for your steering wheel to call on Siri for you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. Also, with iOS 6, there's going to be a load of new languages. You can look at the list on Apple's site. They listed everything they're going to be doing to iOS 6, Mountain Lion, and the Mac upgrades and everything like that. They listed everything. So just check their site out, and it'll have all your information. All the other news group sites might not have as much information, just because they were just going off the conference. So they've been adding little bits and pieces here and there as time goes on. So.
Alan's Tech Corner.
Yes, well, I apologize for the other week when Mike and Chris did it. I know it was horrible, y'all. It's okay. It's okay.
This is why we need you, Alan.
I know. I really felt the love after that.
We're not good at science.
Oh man.
Well, like many of y'all who've been listening know and heard my veiled hints, I'm pretty much a Trekkie. I admit it. I'm sorry. I am. So when I saw this from MIT, I really got excited. It was one of those things. It's like I've seen this on TV. It's got to be real. So if anybody's familiar with Star Trek: The Next Generation, you've seen this little thing they had, almost like a bicycle pump nozzle, and they would stick it to your arm and make a sound, and you'd get a shot. Well, MIT has developed something similar to this, and it uses a magnet and some copper wire, and it actually is able to give a shot without a needle. So it uses what's called the Lorentz force, which has to do with magnets and copper wire. And so what you do is you wrap wire around the magnet, and then when you apply electrical force to the wire, it forces the wire away from the magnet. So using this, and different voltages actually change the speed at which it'll run away from the magnet. So using this, they can change how fast they inject things. They can inject something really quickly at the beginning and then slow it down until the end. They can do a lot of little things like that. It's really cool. It's very, very, modular, very changeable. They can change the speed anytime they want to. One of the cooler things about it is it uses a hole the size of a mosquito's proboscis. For example, you've never felt a mosquito bite you. You felt the after effects when you were itchy, but you've never felt the mosquito bite you. That's because it's so small, it just goes right in. But what they did is they put a little hole at the end of this syringe that is as small as a mosquito's proboscis. That way you never feel it going in. Another cool feature this thing has is it's so fast that it can inject powders as if they were liquids.
That's crazy.
It is. So this was done by MIT bioengineering lab. I have no idea when this will be getting into the hospitals and stuff. I mean, personally, I'm okay with shots now. I didn't used to be. I mean, when I was little, people had to hold me down. I'll admit it. I'm not afraid to. But I mean, this is such cool technology, and I can't wait to see it in more use. But we'll have to wait and see. So
yeah, this is some really cool stuff. I can't wait to see it in regular hospitals because I'll admit I still don't like shots. I mean, I'm okay with them. I can take them, but if I can do without them, I'd rather would.
Yeah, I've given plasma so much that I can watch the needle go in now, and it seems creepy. But once you do it once or twice, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like you can't look away afterwards.
Military needs to get on this right away because we have to get at least 37 shots in a year. So
seriously.
Okay, so I got one more story for y'all this week. The MIT story was a makeup from last time. I was gonna do that the week I was sick. So, but this one's more current. Basically, some Swedish scientists have managed to encode some cells with a circuit. Now, what they've managed to do is put a half adder, which is a circuit that's in more than likely it's a full adder in your computer nowadays, but a half adder is kind of like a dumbed down version of it. And they've managed to put it in a cell. Why this is cool is because now they have a cell that can add binary numbers together. Just for example, your computer already has one. It has this chip on the motherboard called the ALU, arithmetic logic unit. Okay. And it handles all the math for computer. Inside there, it more than likely has what's called a full adder.
Right.
Because what happens is, say you have 16 bits of data. If you add two 16-bit numbers together, sometimes the answer can be 17 bits. But when you're working in a computer, you can't hold 17 bits if you're on a 16-bit memory limit.
Right.
So what that means is you have overflow, and a half adder really doesn't take care of the overflow. It kind of just tosses it away. A full adder, on the other hand, takes care of it, stores it somewhere, and lets the rest of the computer know, hey, your number overflowed. You might want to do something about that. So that's what a half adder does. But strangely enough, they also managed to do a half subtractor in there, which, given the nature of binary numbers, a half adder can also subtract.
Right.
So
now, what is the beneficial, thing with this experiment they did and what they've created.
Well, this is the biggest circuit they've done. Biggest circuit they've made for a out of cells. It's fairly impressive. A half adder is made up of ANDs and OR gates. They're logic gates, and what those AND and OR gate is the building block of every piece of hardware in your computer. Every piece of hardware in your computer is based upon AND and OR gates.
Right.
So if they can make a half adder out of these cells, there is nothing to say they can't go ahead and make a whole computer out of cells, so that they can have a computer made out of biological cells.
That sounds incredibly creepy.
Oh.
It does. I mean, a lot of the article was talking about, having it to where you can install this cells that can do math in your arm. So you'd have a ALU made out of cells installed in your arm.
Stuff better not take over, man.
So it looks fairly interesting. I want a computer. I want a biological computer in my arm, man. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so some of the applications they were talking about doing is having to where a system of circuits would diagnose sicknesses and release antibiotics for you and things of that nature.
Okay, that's
so
cool.
that's kind of where they're heading with it. So not really going for an ALU in your arm. They're really going for more of a diagnostic tool. They stick this little thing on your arm, and if you're sick, it gives you antibiotics automatically.
It's getting closer and closer to being an augmented future.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what your guys' plans this weekend are for yourselves, but I'm going to be probably just gaming, maybe.
Don't we do that every week?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes,
Play
Brain.
some Saints Row 2, or Saints Row 3, actually.
Yeah. I'm actually probably going to be hitting up some of those free games that I got from the PlayStation Plus this month.
Oh, yeah. I've been playing, was it Space Marine?
Yeah.
That one's pretty fun. And then also, what was it called? Ratchet and Clank's All for One is really fun. That was a really fun co-op game.
Yeah.
Definitely hit that one up.
Yeah, me and you and our wives should probably hit that up. 4-player.
Yeah. That'll be pretty fun.
Anyway, our special surprise at the end of today's show, we have a free Steam key for the Humble Indie Bundle 2, if you missed it the first time around it came out. Now, this is going to come with Braid, a game called Cortex Command. I'm not really sure what that is. Machinarium, it's that robot adventure game that looked really cool. Osmos, which is really fun, like therapeutic kind of game. And Revenge of the Titans. It's a pretty interesting tower defense type game. Now, to get this free Steam key, you're going to have to give us an answer to our question for today. Now, you've already heard what our top 3 games of E3 this year were. We want to hear what you thought, and give us your top game of the year and give us a reason why. And the best one will get a free Steam key. So you can give us your answer in a few different ways. You can either send us an email at techearthsyndicate@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on our Facebook page. You can leave a comment on our YouTube page. Just lots of different ways you can get at it.
Well, that comes to the end of our show. You can follow me on Twitter. Mine is mbufftes.
You can hit me up at cstewtes.
And as always, I'm at A-Grade-TES.
Awesome. We are on iTunes. We are on YouTube. And we are on Facebook.
And we're on Steam.
Everywhere.
And Steam. We are everything.
We are
Everyone. Hit us up on Steam and game with us. So we have a pretty decent amount of people on there. So, hit us up. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. As we end today's show, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Elmore Coast Productions, and our sponsors. If you have any rants, comments, or questions about our show, please email me, Michael Buffington, at techearthsyndicate@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and please don't drink and drive. The life you may save may be your own. Till next time, Technical Earth Syndicate, signing off.